Thank you very much for spending the next sort of 30-45 minutes with me. I will be talking to you about why, how, and the benefits of becoming a Pearson VUE Test Center. As Justin said, please submit any questions into the chat function, and I'll endeavour to answer as many of these as possible after I've completed the slides. So again, this is myself. I'm the head of channel partnerships for EMEA, and so this agenda will include the following subjects, which will give you a good overview about the requirements and opportunities our PVTCs, Pearson VUE Test Centers, benefit from. So this overview demonstrates what goes on behind the scenes at Pearson VUE. The focus today will be talking about why become one of the 5,600 PVTCs, Pearson VUE Test Centers, working with us globally. So there are many benefits to becoming a PVTC, but I wanted to point out what I believe the most important benefits are for yourselves. Firstly, being able to deliver over 110 IT and professional certifications in one system is a lot of different exams that you can participate in. If you are training in any of these professional IT certifications, gives you the ideal opportunity to provide an end-to-end service for your partners. This means that you can do the training on site as well as do the actual certification in an environment which your candidates will feel comfortable in. As well, you be able to open to the public, which also means that you'll be able to have other candidates finding out about your business, and obviously there's potential marketing elements there for yourselves as well. With access to a dedicated regional manager, they will be able to talk to you about many more different opportunities. But there's some I can mention on here, such as the scalability for test events. So we'll have our day-to-day testing needs, but we also have some clients which require one-day delivery. That means that we may need to scale up our number of seats in a certain country or a certain location, or even globally, to meet the need of that client for one-day delivery. So some opportunities have been that some of our test centers have been able to offer us extra seats, or they've been able to offer us an extra room, or even open up multiple locations on a temporary basis for us. There's also the opportunity to review some of our training opportunities within our product store, and also the opportunity to become a product reseller. And I'll talk more about that in some coming slides. When it comes to the software, there's no software license or installation fees, and you're self-sufficient in terms of being able to control what days you will open and the times that you open. So it's very flexible to meet the needs of your business. So what do you need to apply? Well, you need a distraction-free area, which really is a room, 4 walls, with a door, which is as quiet as it can be within your location, and it will need to be set up with desktop PCs. There needs to be a check-in area outside of the test room. This could be the reception area or something mocked up like a reception, which allows the candidate to have the ID checked and photo taken, signature taken, etc., before they go into the test room. You'll need somewhere, waiting area for the candidates to sit before they go in and take their test, and some form of lockable storage, big enough for a small bag that the candidates know whilst they're testing that any personal belongings are safe. And then you'll need to ensure that you've got enough administrators and staff to manage the candidate flow. Our ratio is 1 to 15, so that's 1 administrator to 15 delivery workstations. But obviously, the more seats you may have, the more staff you'll need, and dependent on where the test center is in the building, there may need to be some staff in terms of helping to guide the candidates to the right area. So the application is pretty straightforward. Best place to go, obviously, is our Become a Test Center area on pearsonvue.com. There you'll find there's videos, there's all the hardware requirement specifications, there's the software requirement specifications, and the facility specifications as well. So everything you need is there. So you'll be able to sort of tick off all the requirements that we need. And if you meet all the requirements, there's an online application form. It is quite detailed, and we do require photos if possible at that time, but it does take you through the stages of what's required. As we have so many test centers across the world, we don't visit and for every test center ourselves in person. So the photo list becomes really important for us to get a really good understanding of the exterior of the test center, as well as all of the areas within the test center that the candidate would visit. And then finally, once the software has been installed and there is support through our internal IT team, you would then be able to train the administrators. Now, the administrators need to take a multiple choice test, which ensures that they are aware of the most common policies and procedures of computer-based testing. It's all done through our software, so they have to register themselves, schedule the test and book it, and then deliver the test as well and upload the result. So it's a full end-to-end style of training. And we have a quality and security team, as well as my own team, which are there to support all of our test centers with any questions you may have throughout this journey as well. And then once everyone's trained, tested, the site can then be activated, and the test center is then ready for bookings in the timings that are provided by our test centers. So as we were talking earlier, we do have our reseller community, and becoming a PVTC gives you the ability to join that. So what that brings is you'll be able to see a wide range of learning materials, practice tests, certification bundles at a price that then can be resold back to your customers. There's our regional managers are well experienced in being able to provide demos for this. So as you go through the journey with us if you decide to become a PVTC, our regional managers will then speak to you and take you through a demo of the reseller products, which there are many different ones and continue to grow all the time. So that was a whistle-stop tour of how to become a test center and some of the benefits. So I'm hoping there'll be some questions, and I'll be happy to answer any that anyone has.
Thanks, Pete. We have one question here. Are there restrictions to opening a Pearson VUE Test Center in West Africa, specifically Ghana, Senegal, Ivory Coast, or Nigeria, and specifically for the NCLEX exam and other professional tests?
Yeah, so there's no restriction in becoming a test center, but there are restrictions in which tests can be delivered in a Pearson VUE Test Center. So part of the 110 certifications, which we're not going to mention now, unfortunately, NCLEX is not one of those exams. It needs to go through a particular channel, which isn't part of the Pearson VUE client list, unfortunately.
Okay, and I'm not sure if this question is specific to individual test centers but someone asked, what are the costs involved?
So there's no, well, I mean, the cost is obviously the staff running the test center, but there's a one-off cost to purchase our enhanced security kit, the ESP kit. If it's purchased through us, it's $450, but it can be purchased locally if required. What we need are 2 webcams and a digital signature pad. All of our PBTCs need to have this as part of the admittance process for our clients. So we take a digital photo of a candidate and a digital signature upon checking the ID as well. But apart from that cost of the kit, that there are no other costs associated from Pearson VUE's side of the partnership.
Okay, we have a couple more questions here about restrictions and requirements. I'll ask, these were separately asked, but I'll bundle them together for you. Are there restrictions for the UK if an existing center already exists in the same area? And then secondly, is there any space requirements for test centers?
No, I mean, if you know, we welcome any test centers into our network. We have multiple test centers in multiple cities across the world. So yeah, we're very open as long as you're able to complete the application form and be able to get approved. Then that's no problem whatsoever. And the second question, Justin, was that about the size of the center?
I should have kept them separate as they were initially presented, I suppose. Is there a space requirement for a test center? And if so, what are they?
So there's not a particular space requirement. I mean, you could literally have a room with 1 computer in. The way you need to look at it is each computer needs to have 1.2 meters between them. So the more computers you'd like, the bigger the room would have to be to meet that criteria. But I would suggest most of this information will be found within the Become a Test Center area on Pearson VUE, because you'll be able to see that there's a list of the facility requirements, which will then, it's got a floor plan which sort of demonstrates what a typical test center would look like, and would confirm the sort of spacing between the workstations.
Okay, thank you. And then people are asking if there's an email where they can inquire about additional opportunities to explore further exams.
Yeah, well, we can share the channel sales mailbox. So it's, but I don't know. Can we put it in a chat, or can we send it with the video tomorrow, Justin?
We can probably put that in the chat. One moment.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
and then another question here. Someone asked, they wanted to open a test center in Pakistan, and they're also asking about if the NCLEX can be administered in that test center, as well as IELTS and the TOEFL test administration.
Yeah, so we need to look into. I can definitely say NCLEX is a no. I'm unsure about the other 2 clients, so that may be something that we'll need to investigate. And on the return email with the video, we'll be able just to confirm that.
Sure, of course. And then a lot of people in here are asking in various ways about any sort of ability on return on investment. I'm assuming that varies site to site. Is there any baselines about that?
No, I mean, we have no control on where candidates take a test. So the only control that our Pearson VUE test centers have is if they have their own candidate base, so they know that they're going to have candidates that need to be tested, and then there's a percentage of candidates would then come from the public domain as well and book in. We do compensate per test, so there is a compensation method that we put together, and dependent on the type of test, that there's different payment schedules. What I would say is, a good way of looking at return on investment is looking at the reseller element of this, because you can create different types of certification bundles, which can help create a product which will support learn, practicing, and certifying, and that's where you would be able to sort of get a price for a bundle, and then see what the industry or the local area would sort of take as a price. So yeah, there's lots of other opportunities apart from just the delivery of the test, and we can certainly go into more detail with that via our regional managers.
Okay, thank you. Someone here said they have prepared a test center in Amman, Jordan, according to Pearson VUE requirements. They are ready as a test center, but need approval. What is the proper way to go about securing that approval?
So if you've gone through the application process and it sounds like you're near enough ready to become a test center, if you can share the details, I'll be able to find out where you are in the process, and we'll get one of our regional managers to contact you and give you an update on progress. But it sounds like you're not too far off becoming activated.
And Pete, is your email the best one for people to reach out to if they have questions following up on this that don't get answered during the call?
No, if you can use the PV EMEA channel sales at pearson.com, please.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, and then another question here. Other than furniture and building costs, what are the equipment costs to purchase hardware and software from Pearson VUE? Is there a licensing fee that needs to be paid to Pearson VUE?
No. So there's no license fee. The software comes free of charge. Our support in helping to install the software is just part of the of what we offer. As I said before, that there is a cost associated with the admissions kit. So that's 2 digital cameras and a digital signature pad. If you go to the become a test center area on Pearson VUE, I was explained that there's sort of 3 different specifications. There's a hardware specification, there's a software specification, and there's a facility specification. And on there, you'll be able to see all the different minimum specifications for technology that we need on there. As long as the computers meet those specifications, then there are no additional costs to make apart from purchasing the security kit.
Okay. And I think with that, let me see here. We have a couple more. Can you share some of the feedback that you have received from previous sites that have set up a PVTC?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of our test set. I mean, I could say that there's some of our test centers have been with us for 20 years, and the reason they're with us is they want to be able to provide that service not only to their own candidates, but also to the local community as well. So it becomes, you get well known in the area by particular candidates will come back multiple times, delivering multiple certifications that they may have done at home, or some that they've done with the organization, or actually over conversations. They've actually trained with the PVTC. So a lot of feedback from our test centers is the benefits of the marketing, of being able to speak to people about what they're doing and understanding the trends in the market is really important to them.
Okay, and what's the most common roadblock that prospective sites share with you, and what is your recommendation for overcoming it?
Yeah, it's always the application process. We do ask for a lot of information. The photos are very important, but because there's not a big list of photos, but we need all of the photos, and they need to be as clear and concise as possible for our quality team to be able to confirm that the centre meets our requirements. And as soon as an application comes in and it hasn't been completed to satisfaction, that's when you start to have to communicate with each other potentially multiple times, which can then slow down the process of the approval. So I always suggest taking time first time on the application and make sure that everything's uploaded that's required to go through the approval process.
Wonderful. And then speaking of that approval process, acknowledging that there are lots of variables, what is the average length of time for a PVTC to get activated, and what steps can prospective sites take to expedite that?
Yeah, I mean, we typically, from application to activation, look between sort of 30 to 50 days. And again, it's very hard to sort of say, every test center is different, and it's the more support which is put into the application, the more support that's put into the installation, because it really is a self-installation, but there is support for our technical team, and then all the admin parts, getting all the administrators trained and certified. There's a lot of controls which are outside of Pearson VUE. So the more that we work together with our installing partners, the more detailed that we are from the beginning, and also considering the timelines, it makes things much quicker.
Okay, and then I have another question here. People have heard you mention the security kit. Can you give a little more clarification on what that is and how it works?
Yeah, so when a candidate is admitted for a test, you check their ID. There are two forms of ID, and all different clients are slightly different, but we have all the policies and guides for that. But we also need to take a sort of passport style photo of the candidate. So there's there's two digital cameras, but one's just a backup. But when the candidate is being admitted, the candidate stands in by a neutral background. They get the administrator takes a picture of the candidate, which then gets added to their profile, and then they also take a digital signature, which is then loaded to the profile and then is checked by the ID. Now, some people use the photo to check if it's a returning candidate, that maybe it's the same person, and then it pop back up on the screen to confirm that's who it is. And other clients of ours actually use it as a electronic score report, where a candidate goes in with a PIN, and then they're able to show their certification to someone, and it will have the photo that was taken from them at the time, just to confirm that was the person that took the test in there and that they passed the exam.
Okay, thank you. And then I have a question here. Do you have to offer all tests all year round once you were set up as a PVTC?
Yes. Yeah. So the client list is the client list. Now there's 110 clients, but that doesn't mean that one test center is going to see 110 clients. It may well be that it's a global client list, but some people may not be training in that certification. So yeah, we can't stop different exams from coming, because that's the purpose of the Pearson VUE Test Center network, is to be able to offer all types of exams to anyone that needs to take it hopefully in pretty much anywhere in the world.
Wonderful. Okay, well, with that, I think we've addressed most of the questions. For anyone who has any particular questions they'd like to reach out to regarding sales contacts, I will put that email that Pete referenced in the chat right now. You should all see that come through, salesamiya@pearson.com. You will also all receive this recording tomorrow, which will have all of the slides bundled in, as well as any information that Pete may have discussed that you want to make sure you are able to retain or process or work towards later on. With that, I will end the session. I'd like to thank all of you for joining and attending, and we look forward to continuing this conversation with you offline. Thank you. Good day.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks very much.